Coming up on Good Morning Texas, a UT campaign that is garnering attention across the nation.
How goats are helping create jobs.
And the scoop on a new dessert spot on the drag.
All this and more coming up on Good Morning Texas.
Good morning, Texas. I'm Cassandra Jaramillo.
And I'm Sandy Marin. Thanks for tuning in to Good Morning Texas.
Last week, a student-led movement gained national attention for raising awareness on sexual violence. The Not on My Campus UT organization gathered 1,400 signatures on a petition to take a stand against sexual violence. Several people posted on social media their pictures with the phrase "Not on My Campus" written on their hands. Though the organization has gained a lot of momentum online, the founders say they plan on doing much more on the 40 acres.
According to the National Institute of Justice, more than 90% of sexual assault cases on college campuses were not reported to police. Now, an organization called Not on My Campus wants to help victims break the silence.
We're trying to accomplish two things with Not on My Campus. Number one, we're trying to provide resources to potential victims and victims. Secondly, we're trying to create a conversation on campus, creating a dialogue and making people asking themselves, why is it okay for us to adopt this rape culture?
Former president of Interfraternity Council, Edwin Chen, is working with Ellen Kokenauer, who is in Panhellenic Council. Together, they worked to get recognized by student government last week, and they say the feedback on the campaign has been positive.
We're just automatically shocked by the amount of responses we got.
On social media, UT President Bill Powers, student athletes, and alums have shown support for the campaign. The organization's social media accounts gained momentum last week, but the organization wants to do more than attract endorsements online.
We do not want this to be a 1 week out of the year type thing.
Their hope is that more victims feel open to reporting cases and finding resources available to them, and that UT students make the pledge to take a stand against sexual violence. Cassandra Jaramillo, Good Morning Texas.
So Sandy, this campaign started at several other universities like SMU, and I have a lot of respect for these UT students because it's completely student-led. Yes, they have faculty advisors, but they took it upon themselves to really, get endorsements from leadership like Bill Powers and former alums, so I think this is going to be very wonderful for any potential victims.
Yeah, and I think it's great that they want to make it like a movement that's here to stay and not just a phase. And actually, April is Sexual Harassment Awareness Month.
Yes.
So I think that's great that they're pushing forward with this.
Absolutely.
And well, goats roaming the front yard is not a sight you would expect to see, but a UT students nonprofit is making goats a part of families in the Rio Grande Valley. Luke Benadani reports how the Sustainable Dairy Goat Initiative hopes to give families in one of the poorest metro areas in the U.S. a new source of income.
The Alegria family already had 6 mouths to feed, but now they've added 3 more. The South Texas family is part of the Sustainable Dairy Goat Initiative, a program selling milk from goats to make cheese and soap.
It's very beneficial for the family, the kids playing with them, and it's economically beneficial that it will pay off in the future.
Families for the program are found through a South Texas housing and outreach organization that chooses families based on need, farming experience, and participation. UT student Sam Garcia started the initiative to give back to his hometown area.
I've spoken with the kids from colonias. I've lived in the valley my entire life, and a lot of them want to grow up to be doctors, nurses, even lawyers, cool stuff. And in the face of rising education costs, I don't see that being possible unless there's a supplement to their economic situation.
Congressmen from the McAllen area say they believe that the Sustainable Dairy Goat Initiative can improve lives in the Rio Grande Valley. Representatives Guerra, Longoria, and Munoz will recognize the initiative with a bill on the Texas House floor later this month.
No.
SDGI chapters are sprouting up on college campuses across the state. At a UT event, a local farmer says she brings her goats out for fundraisers because of the nonprofit's potential to make an impact.
Regardless of how big their project gets or doesn't get, I think they can make a difference from people, and the people that they make a difference for may then in turn make a difference with friends or family or relatives.
You know, Cassandra, it's good to see that there's something like this happening that started from UT, and now many families, because right now they're starting off with 2 pilot families, and eventually, you know, throughout 5 years, you want to reach 40 families to be able to have all these goats and eventually, you know, make money out of it so they can sustain themselves and their families through, you know, milk, cheese, and even soaps.
What an excellent report by our reporter, Luke Minadani. And also, they are not allowed to kill the goats, right?
Yeah, exactly. That was like one of the main, you know, things that one of the farmers that provides the goats said, no, no killing.
What a great story. Well, according to a 2015 study published by the Live Strong campaign, nearly 60% of men and women are diagnosed as either overweight or obese. For many, it may be just a matter of not knowing what foods they're consuming. For others, it's a matter of accessibility and affordability for the right foods. Leslie Adamy reports on how living a healthier lifestyle is becoming more of a possibility for low-income families.
Every Tuesday and Saturday, rain or shine, members of the community can be found visiting various farmers markets to buy their week's worth of fresh foods for their families. Resident Dina Lomry tries to visit the East Side's market as much as possible.
It's definitely helped to have kind of more access to vegetables, and especially those at the farmers market.
According to the Campbell Soup Company and Sperling's Best Places study, Austin ranks in the top 10 as one of the most organic and sustainable cities in America. However, such a lifestyle does come at a cost. That's where the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, or SNAP, comes into play. The number of Texans using SNAP and the Lone Star card has tripled since the year 2000. And while that number does seem a little high, this has only encouraged efforts within the city of Austin to make sustainable living and eating healthier accessible to everyone.
I have heard many stories of clients who say, without this, we wouldn't be able to eat. Without this, I don't know how I would eat.
The Double Dollar Incentive Program, or DDIP, provides those who qualify for the Lone Star card the opportunity to double the amount of fresh foods they would get for the price of one at the farmers markets.
Everybody's got a budget. Every single person operates on a budget, and food lives somewhere within that budget, and the way that we prioritize it really makes a difference. And the Double Dollar Incentive Program is one of those ways. They're like, gosh, you know, I want all these veggies. I want as much as I can get.
Thanks to DDIP, low-income residents can now take home healthy foods to their families and give them the nutrition they need without having to worry about the cost. Leslie Adamy, Good Morning, Texas.
You know, farmers markets are so huge here in Austin, and a lot of my friends who are so loyal about going all the time say that the produce lasts longer than the produce from HEB. So I find that very interesting.
You know, I heard it's even like it lasts 3 times, you know, more fresh than like your local like grocery store produce. And that's great.
Absolutely.
I mean, what you pay for, you get it in the long run. Because I know I have avocados that are in there and like the next day they're all black.
Yeah,
so I don't know how
that's not good.
I might just
Never
have to
fun.
go check out some farmers market here in the area. Absolutely. Now going on from something healthy to something a little bit more sweeter. When one sweet shop leaves, another enters. You may have seen the construction for a new ice cream sandwich shop, Mujo's, that just opened instead of Campus Candy. Our Cortland Cole gives us the inside scoop on the new business.
Mujo's is an ice cream sandwich shop next to Austin's Pizza, set to open on the Drag this spring.
So we do all natural cookies and all natural ice cream. We have a product that is includes gluten-free cookies, and we're going to essentially we're not reinventing the wheel. I mean, we have cookies and we have ice cream, but I think the combination of the two together is something that hasn't really been presented into a business.
Each ice cream sandwich is made in front of you specifically for you. As you enter the shop, you're offered the option of 7 different cookies and 8 flavors of ice cream available for your mixing and matching needs. The California-based shop embodies Austin's unique culture by only working with family-owned businesses and baking the cookies fresh the day they're served. Mujo tries to combine the best moments of joy to make your day better.
The actual name came from the phrase moments of joy. So we decided that everyone wants to have a moment of joy, and we shortened the beginning of each word and we created Mujo. Get your cookie, you get your ice cream, and then we make the sandwich. So.
Cortland Cole, Good Morning, Texas.
So something that I always notice is when I go running, I run on Guadalupe and I pass by the Mujo location, and all I can think about as I'm working out is how badly I want to try one of their ice cream sandwiches.
I feel like maybe once, one little ice cream sandwich once in a while won't do anyone any harm, especially if you're trying to live a healthy life.
Yes. I'm excited to see the new dessert shop open up. Well, coming up on Good Morning Texas, we'll have a look at this week's weather.
Thanks for watching Good Morning Texas.
Welcome back to Good Morning Texas. We have reporter Maricabel Cardoso in the News and Weather Center. What's happening in the news this week, Maricabel?
Thanks, Cassandra. Well, President Obama has honored UT's GeoForce Texas program with the Presidential Award for Excellence in Science, Mathematics, and Engineering Mentoring. GeoForce gives disadvantaged high school students the opportunity to visit geologically significant sites across the country. The program aims to introduce potential geoscientists to the profession. A GeoForce representative will receive the awards at a White House ceremony later this year. The program will also receive $10,000 from the National Science Foundation. Put down the selfie stick. Music festivals such as Coachella and Lollapalooza have listed the popular device as a prohibited item. Selfie sticks / narcissists are banned from attendance, reads Coachella's site. GoPros are also among the list. Other festivals such as Bonnaroo and Governor's Ball have yet to say whether or not they're Team Selfie Stick. Weekend 1 of Coachella starts on the 10th of this month in Indio, California. Lollapalooza begins July 31st and lasts until August 2nd in Chicago. Only 2 days after being fired from UT, Rick Barnes has found a new home. The University of Tennessee has hired Barnes as their new head basketball coach. The university called Barnes an elite basketball coach in every respect. The contract is for 6 years at $2.25 million per year. Tennessee is the second SEC school to hire a veteran coach with Final Four experience this month. That's all your news for this Wednesday morning. Back to you guys.
All right, thanks, Maricabel. And how's the weather looking for this week?
Well, after a sunny and warm weekend, we have seen a little humidity these past couple of days. The rest of the week will bring clouds, cooler temperatures, and potential showers. So swap your sunglasses for umbrellas because there is a chance for thunderstorms starting today. There is an expected high of 78 today and low of 64, as you can see. You might need to bust out your rain boots for today and the rest of the week. Cloudy with a 40% chance of thunderstorms on Thursday. The rain will most likely lighten up, partly sunny with a high near 83 and a low of about 65. Already counting down to the weekend, well, not much will change from what you've been seeing. Partly sunny with a high near 81 and a cool low around 54. Saturday will be very similar to Friday, partly sunny with highs in the high 60s and lows in the mid 50s. What little we might see of the sun this week will likely shy away on Sunday, a high of 69 and low of 61. It will be cloudy with a 50% chance of light showers. In sum, a cloudy week with lower temps and chance of rain. That's all for this week's weather. Cassandra and Sandy, back to you.
Well, I'm glad to see that the rain won't be here to stay. Thank you, Maricabel. And when we come back, Sandy and I will have a few April Fool's pranks to show you to possibly inspire you today.
Thank you, Internet, for this inspiration that we have coming up next. Stay tuned for Good Morning Texas.
Welcome back to Good Morning Texas. Well, there's two reasons why I love April Fool's Day. One, it means that my birthday is 2 days away. And two, I love pulling pranks on people.
Now we want to show you a few clips we found on the internet to inspire you as you plot your own pranks.
So the first prank we have coming up is the classic toilet with saran wrap stunt. Take a look.
Now, as you can imagine, although you would get some hilarious responses with this prank, it could get a little messy.
Yes.
So if you choose not to saran wrap the toilet, you can always, wrap your roommate's desk, bed, or even like the dorm. So like the possibilities for this could be endless.
Yes, well, the next one on our April Fool's list is the red plastic solo cup prank.
Now, actually, I did this to my roommate when we were in the dorms, and when she walked out her room, she didn't know what to do. She was like trying to tiptoe in between the cups.
It's hilarious. And I think if you don't do it in the dorm, putting it in the bathroom and in the shower, that would be a really funny prank to do as well. And it's also less amount of cups you have to buy.
Yeah, that is true. It's easy, it's cheap, and it's still pretty hilarious, especially if you get it on video.
So here is one extreme prank that I personally love for the die-hard April Foolers out there. I can't imagine anything that requires more strength than duct taping a bed to the ceiling. There's this guy who literally took his roommate's bed and duct taped it.
I want to know what type of duct tape is this, because this is some intensely strong duct tape.
Yes, I just find it hilarious.
There's just a lot of manpower involved on that, It may be like a little bit too much, but the reactions on their face would be priceless.
Yes, I still think I would plot to duct tape your bed, Sandy. That would be my choice for this April Fool's Day.
I'll find out when I go home. I'll keep you guys posted.
Well, there's nothing quite like getting pranked with Post-it notes. I think this is another really simple, easy prank. It will probably require a lot of time to be able to fill up the whole wall with Post-it notes, but
that's very
nevertheless,
time-consuming.
It'd be a great prank.
Yeah, you just have to make sure that whoever you're pranking, make sure they're not coming home anytime soon.
So when we come back, also, no matter what prank you pick for this April Fool's Day, snap a picture of it and send it to us on our Twitter at GoodMorningTX. When we come back, we're speaking with the editor-in-chief of the Undergraduate Research Journal. Stay tuned. In studio with us today, we have Evan Watts, who is the editor-in-chief for the Undergraduate Research Journal. Welcome, Evan. Thank you so much for coming.
Good morning. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Tell me a little bit about yourself and how you got involved with the Research Journal here on campus.
Sure. So I'm a senior graduating in May, finally. I'm a management information systems major, and I'm minoring in finance. So business classes mostly. You can also find me at the Undergraduate Writing Center, which is now the University Writing Center. I'm a consultant there. I've been there for 2 years. And I got involved with the Undergraduate Research Journal my freshman year, pretty much by accident, not on purpose at all. I fell into it for the most part. With a fairly technical major like MIS, I wanted to get some exposure to rhetoric and English as well. I'd enjoyed that in high school. I did the AP tests. So I got an email across my inbox one day for an editor position with the Undergraduate Research Journal, and I applied and was actually rejected from the journal when I first applied. So I asked to meet with the editor-in-chief at the time just to go over my application and see what I could improve for next year's application process. And something I said must have made sense to him, because he did bring me on that year, actually. And so since then, I've been able to have the privilege of 6 positions within the organization, and have now landed at the editor-in-chief position and have been enjoying it ever since.
Wow. Well, tell me a little bit more about the responsibilities that those who work for the Undergraduate Research Journal have. What are they in charge of?
Sure. So the first semester of the year, so fall semester, typically involves soliciting submissions from students. So what the Undergraduate Research Journal is all about is getting the research of undergraduates done here at the University of Texas at Austin out to the world and published in a meaningful way. So the fall semester involves reaching out to professors, different courses, and advertising about this opportunity that students do have. So our editors will go around with either PowerPoint slides or just speaking to courses about the opportunities, and then we get to the spring semester, and it's a lot more about editing and actually going through what we call selection weekend, where we'll go and take the best research of the group, push it through to professors for faculty review, and then ultimately sit down and talk with the editor about the recommendations that have been made by the professionals in the field and the faculty. And at that point, we'll have a peer-reviewed journal that is academically credible that we're very proud to show off.
It sounds like a great opportunity for those who are interested in academia, and from what I understand, it hasn't been here for that long, you know?
No, it's a fairly recent addition in the broader scope of the university. We were founded in 2002, so that's about 13 years now that we've been on campus. So enough of a history to remember the Cabinet of College Councils. You know, it's the Senate of College Councils today, but certainly nowhere near the length of time that a lot of organizations have had. So in that sense, I still think that we're a young group and we're growing, and every year continuing to get stronger in the quality of submissions that we receive, and also the tenacity and the drive of the editors that we do bring on board as well.
What has been the most rewarding thing about working on the undergraduate research journal?
Gosh, the most rewarding thing. I would say the people that I get to work with. I feel like that's just a stereotypical answer, but it is very true. I really like to work with these not only brilliant editors who are very committed to what they do, but also exceptionally talented authors of these articles as well. You sit down and you read some of this research, and it humbles me. It's absolutely above my head. And that's why we bring in the faculty and we have them assess it. But it's just been an absolute pleasure to work with these students to see what they are able to produce and really what the sort of caliber of the University of Texas is. It's not something that I think a lot of students see is the actual incredible caliber of the intellect of our students, but it's something that I've certainly had the privilege and honor of being exposed to firsthand.
It sounds like you've had such a great experience working with the team at the Undergraduate Research Journal, but how is that team structured? You know, how do people apply to get involved, and how does that process go?
Sure. So our team basically forms in the fall semester. We send out applications, and if anyone is ever interested in applying, they can apply at texasurij.com. Probably around September or October is generally when we'll accept applications to the journal. And at that point, they're sorted into either associate or assistant positions. So we have assistants who assist the associates in all disciplines. So economics, engineering, biology, chemistry, pretty much every discipline, because we are multidisciplinary and we'll publish the work of any field students are working in. And the students then are put on committees as well. So they'll have these primary designations of either associate or assistant editor, and then broken down further to either a finance committee, communications committee, campaigns committee, or an archive committee. And this is actually the first year we've done committees like this. It's kind of our pilot test year for those. So basically the idea with those committees is that it allows students to gain some knowledge about that aspect of the journal that may or may not necessarily be quite obvious. So I guess a good example of that is the finance committee. It's typically a challenge to receive funding every year. We have to continue to push that effort, and so if we have a finance committee that sort of is a standing fixture within the organization, we're able to pass that information on a little easier. So those are the main core editors, and they work with our executive board, which composes editor-in-chief, the managing editor, the director of communication, and two new positions this year, the director of development and the executive assistant as well.
You know, you touched a little bit on funding. How do you guys receive money to sustain this journal?
Yeah, so typically in the past, we've been funded by two main offices on campus primarily. The Vice President of Student Affairs and the Vice President of Research, but we also receive money from the co-op, and we also are now accepting online donations for the first time as well. So we're very excited to now finally have external donations as well.
Yes, and people can go online to the website, right, to if they'd like to make donations?
Yes, donations are on texasurij.com.
There you have it. Well, thank you so much, Evan, for joining us, and Thank you for tuning in to Good Morning Texas. Keep up with our social media online. We'll have several updates coming up. And don't forget, if you pull any pranks on this April Fool's Day, to send your pictures to us at Good Morning TX. Thanks so much and have a great morning.